Augustus, we've just witnessed historical run in the EuroLeague. 25-0. That's only the third time that such a big run happened. And basically, Pana was one Kalaitzakis free throw away from breaking the record. The guy somehow managed to miss both free throws. So the streak ended at 25-0. But that was the run that basically described everything about that game. And I would say described the latest run by Pana in the EuroLeague and also Partizan's struggles. This 25.0 run was just a great picture of what's happening currently in the EuroLeague.
What do you think is the punishment for Kalaitzakis for this? I mean, they probably did not know at the time, but anyway. Do you think it has more to do about Pana or just the state of Partizan? Because, you know, when you go into Oaxaca and you see all the talent that Panathinaikos has, you kind of have to just, you know, think of, okay, what are we giving up? But at the same time, what are we not allowing? And everything I saw was just Pana getting whatever they wanted. You know, Partizan doing their hedging defense sometimes. And every time Kostas Lukas plays the pick and roll, the low man from the weak side is not there. You know, if you are deciding to hedge Panathinaikos' guards, somebody has to stand under the basket from the weak side. That's the simple rule. That's the basic rule. But so many times there was a pass. Of course, Lukas is an amazing passer, you know. He manipulates the defense with the no-looks and all that. But it's just, you know, simple rules that Partizan's defense are not following. And so many times, you know, they got them on the same plays. And it's just, to me, shows the state of Partizan. It's just, Pana is a talented team. We all know that. And you can't give them that much space when you're playing against them away. And, you know, I see the body language from the players. I see, you know, Sterling Brown not giving his 100%, not being there focused enough in the game. I see Dwayne Washington, simple mistakes. I see Jabari Parker, off-ball defensive mistakes. And I don't know, there's just the energy is also not there. And that's the result. That's how you get Panathinaikos scoring 25 in a row. So to me, it once again showed how talented Pana is and how they're getting into the rhythm. But at the same time, it was a lot about Partizans, their effort, their miscommunications defensively, and just in general mood around the team. What do you think?
I think it was a combination of both because Pana just exposed Partizan's weaknesses. And recently, I think that Kostas Lukas was one of the best players in the EuroLeague, especially when you have to expose somebody, their defensive issues, puts Lukas on the floor, and especially Lukas of November, because November's Lukas is different.
Did you also get the stats for his splits, like first 7 games and last 6 games?
I just have splits of November.
Oh, October, okay, yeah.
So November averages are nearly 13 points per game, 6.2 assists in 23 minutes of action, and when Lukas is on the floor, Panathinaikos is up by 23 points per 100 possessions.
See, it was obvious. We did the same thing, because I checked first 7 games, and last 6, and it was 7 points versus 13. Shooting percentage is 36 to 49. And okay, assists 4.3 versus 5. And turnovers like 0.7 and 1.2. That's just ridiculous.
And you're assisting the ball 6 times per game.
Yeah. Wow.
That's huge. And we should have made this split of Lukas before extension and after the extension. Because he got an early extension in November 3rd or 4th. And to me, that was crucial. Because I'll be honest, Lukas is 35 and he was killing in November. Like, I would put him in an MVP conversation for November. The way he impacted Panathinaikos' offense, especially during this winning streak, that was huge. He was dominant in most of these games that Panathinaikos won recently. They're on a 4-win game winning streak, right?
I think so,
And I remember, maybe it happened before the season, there was this quote by Lukas. He said that he doesn't want to be a bench former, so he would rather retire earlier when he feels that he doesn't bring the same impact at the very top level. He doesn't want to be the 12th guy, so he would rather retire than have that. And I was like, maybe we're potentially seeing the last season of Kostas Lukas. Because, you know, you could see his role got a little bit reduced last season. have that elite Slukas feeling anymore. That's how I felt last year. And Greek national team, he had some stretches, but it's far from Slukas consistency that we were used to. And when he got this extension, I was like, okay, this is a statement. It means that Slukas feels confident about himself, although I didn't have that confidence yet about him staying in PANA and staying on the top level for another year. But watching Slukas in November, I mean, the fact that he's 35-year-old Greek guard just doesn't make sense. He turns 36, but he was just killing.
Yeah.
The same happened against Real Madrid. The same happened
against Paris
yesterday, and against Paris as well, against Partizan. And he's enjoying. He's running the show, and he's enjoying. No-look lob passes. He uses Farid as a lob threat, as a decoy, and actually he throws a lob to Juancho Hernan-Gomez, 3-pointers into your face, passing, assisting, controlling the pace. You mentioned this crazy assist-turnover ratio. I mean, that speaks Slukas. And the guy turns 36 in 1 month. To me, that's insane.
And, Slukas for the November MVP might sound crazy because, you have on the same team the guy who just had 39 PAR yesterday. I'm talking about, obviously, Kendrick Nunn. But at the same time, if you look Sylvain Francisco's stats in the October for which he got the MVP, it's not that far off. It's not that far off. I think Francisco had like 14.8 points and 6 assists. Slukas has like 13.5 points and also 6 assists in the
23 minutes.
Yeah, so
it's not only about the numbers; it's about the impact, and he's making a huge impact.
Yeah. Probably he's not going to get it, but
of course
he's playing an amazing level. But at the same time, man, just that 25-0 run.
You want some stats from that 25-0 run?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Partizan actually couldn't score for 6 minutes. Their field goal shooting was 0 from 12. They actually made only 1 turnover, so they just couldn't make shots at all. 0 from 7 from 3, 0 from 5 from 2.
Did Pana had every possession successful, or did they had a couple of?
They
misses?
had 3 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, so
they missed 3 shots.
So
actually,
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
exactly.
So basically, they had. Okay, maybe there were a couple of possessions where they took 2 offensive rebounds. Even Slukas got an offensive tip-in, which was crazy. The guy was doing everything. But actually, even beyond that stretch, Partizan couldn't score a field goal for 11 minutes, starting from the beginning of the third quarter to the middle of the fourth quarter. And I checked their 3-pointers in this game because Željko emphasized that he cannot process the situation where they scored 31 in the first quarter and 6 points in the third quarter. The same team, the same roster. They started the game hitting 4 from 6 from 3. And starting from the very last shot that Jabari Parker took and missed in the end of the first quarter, they missed all the rest of their 3-pointers, which was 0 from 18. So, I mean, some crazy stat line behind collapse of Partizan. But to me, it's even more than numbers. Just defensive, discipline, focus, collapse.
There's no
huge.
discipline.
And we see that this entire season for the last 2 months is the same. Even with Carlik Jones in and or out, it's basically the same story with Partizan. And that's the confusing part to me.
Yeah.
What to do in this situation for them?
I'm not sure, but as you mentioned, there's just no discipline there on that team defensively, and that 25-0 run happened because also of that, just how it started, basically. Kendrick Nunn gets the ball in transition. Shake Milton is backing down. Nobody, is walling up because one-on-one Kendrick Nunn with the ball, if he's running at you and you are backing down, it's extremely hard to stop him. And, Shake Milton is backing up. Nobody's stopping the ball, really. He gets 2 free throws. Couple of possessions later, again, Kendrick Nunn with the ball. No foul before bonus. They pick up Kendrick Nunn at the 3-point line. So he can run all the way, like 20 meters almost, and until the 3-point line. And then he attacks one-on-one with loads of space around because it's a transition. And he just gets 2 points. Like, you're not going to stop that, with discipline. And there was no discipline. Then Ataman decides to use Kendrick Nunn off the ball against Dwayne Washington. It's the same freaking play, the offside off-ball screen, just a simple off-ball screen on one side. First possession, he gets stuck on the screen. Kendrick Nunn makes the three-pointer. Pana says, okay, let's run it back because, why play something else if something worked? Pana does not do that all the time, but since it's for Nunn, probably that's the reason. They run the same play, and again, Kendrick Nunn curls after the screen. Tyreek Jones bumps him, and maybe because it's a curl, Dwayne Washington thinks they are going to switch it, so he stops running for a second, and Kendrick just goes, reads the situation, runs to the other side. He's wide open because, again, there is no communication, there is a bit lack of effort. At the same time, no discipline. He scores the three-pointer. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, yeah, of course they're getting a 25-0 run. Look how their opponents are playing defense. And I'm like, yeah, this is not great in the house of Partizan, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had the same play in my notes, like twice in a row. And
you know how many times different plays happened like twice in a row? What I talked about in the like 10 minutes ago about the Spain pick and roll. It happened so many times, the same play. Like they play to the left side and there is no one from the right side as a low man under the basket. If you send two at Kostas Lukas and you don't help there under the rim, you're gonna get a layup. Like that's how easy it should be. And somehow they're still standing. I know you're guarding Kendrick Nunn on the weak side, but if you're not helping off him, you're getting a fucking layup, That's how easy that is. And they just scored terrible defense really. But Pana, they're a talented team, so.
There was this thing about the phone usage in the locker room. I don't know if you remember the quote. Željko was mad when...
I remember.
Before loss to Asvel and even following that game, it was the same thing. And Željko was shocked that everybody was on their phones. And although there were some, comments in response to Željko that, come on, man, you look like this old man shouting at clouds. But at the same time, beyond this quote, you could feel the whole point. The lack of focus, the lack of chemistry, the lack of discipline, just being somewhere else.
Yeah.
And when you see them playing defense, it's not just this game against Pana. They had the second worst defensive rating in the entire EuroLeague, and it's been lasting long since the beginning of the season. And it's just
I think
the same
last
thing.
season as well. They were not a great defensive team, although we expected that.
Exactly. Although it feels like that they had personnel that could fit that defensive mindset, at least bodies, at least athleticism.
I think last season they had more chances. This season, I said before things got started, their signings in the summer did not help them defensively. So why you should expect a bump in that category if you are already a bad defensive team last season?
And there's no chemistry, and maybe that's what Željko was appealing to get them together somehow, especially now, because when they were facing this adversity in the third quarter, when they were in this slump, they were shooting good open looks actually, but you could feel that they're going to miss it. There's no confidence, there's no belief in what they play, there's no confidence and belief in each other, basically. No. You see Jabari Parker and you feel like that he's on the film scene of Space Jam, the monsters coming out from this monsters planet and soaking up his all talents. I don't remember if you remember that play, but he couldn't dunk the ball. He was wide open. Yeah. He was passing the ball to the rafters, and it's like, it feels like maybe... I'm missing this Jabari Parker of Barcelona, but maybe it's also because, there are not as many early plays in Partizan system. When you play under Željko, it's a bit different. So maybe he seems lost, out of confidence, out of his rhythm, or out of the feeling what he needs to provide for his team. But I'm going to admit, I was wrong because I thought that Jabari Parker will be a great fit to Partizan. But watching it now, I don't see how it can work, actually. And if I'm Partizan, I don't know what I'm doing because to shake up the situation, because Khalid Jones is out. And that's the key. It's not just changing one or two players. You're missing your star player. You have this roster. You see their limitations. And it's mainly, basketball IQ, discipline, focus. How can you change that? So I don't know. It's either Željko sending the message in his own way, but that message is not reaching the these guys, so he has to find new ways to send his messages, or this team is just not built to play Željko's basketball, or it's just too complicated. I know, but sometimes it's, effort is not so complicated.
Yeah.
That's the surprising part to me.
I don't know. I was really, I wasn't a big fan, I'll admit, of Jabari signing, because he needs transition. And Partizan this season is the 5th, 7th slowest team in the EuroLeague. Last season, they were the slowest team in the EuroLeague. 2 seasons ago, they were top 5 slowest team in the EuroLeague. Like, they're playing slow under Željko. That's his basketball. And Jabari needs transition. Jabari needs early one-on-ones. Jabari needs early shots. Jabari needs running. That's where he's at his best. And at the same time, he's not going to give you much defensively. And that's why it didn't really make much sense to me. But I was like, okay, maybe I'm not seeing something. But right now, he looks really not as a great fit, but it's just one of many problems. Karlik's injury is a huge problem. But even with him, I just don't know. I think the team is lost. You're looking at how Željko communicates, even with Pokuševski, and you're like, I have not seen Pokuševski responding to a coach since yesterday. Okay, I don't watch every game of Partizan, EuroLeague, ABA League. I don't watch. Maybe it has happened before. But Pokuševski responding to Željko tells a million things about what's the atmosphere in this team. And I think, I think players don't believe in the system anymore. And that's the main problem. That is a huge problem. You can see it, how they behave on the court. And maybe it's also the fact that they don't really have experienced veteran players, local players in their locker room. I think also it helps a lot, especially in hard situations like the one they're having right now, just to, calm down some guys on the team, maybe who are not happy with the playing time or how they're used. And that helps sometimes really hugely, especially in the locker rooms. Like I'm seeing, it's a different perspective, different role, but I'm seeing DeAndre Jordan now teaching Derek Queen in the New Orleans just after bad situations. DeAndre Jordan is not playing at all, but he is just teaching Derek Queen how to be more patient, how to respond to situations, how to, what body language to show. You can just see these little advices. I think that's what Partizan has been lacking, not only this year, but I think in the last year as well. So I really don't know how to solve this. We're talking about all these problems and we're talking about Partizan, but I don't know. I mean, definitely if Željko steps down, you probably get a boost because the players are not happy right now playing for him. But can it be a solution long term? I'm not sure. So what's there to do? You just wait out and just play the season, but there is no meaning in losing in the EuroLeague. You are supposed to win. There is no draft in the summer that you can get good players.
And it would be a third straight season without the playoffs. And it seemed like, this season is also continuity from the previous season because they kept the core as well. So that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, but if they keep playing like this, something has to happen just to try, because otherwise it's a lost season. And since you still have so many games, I think there is still chance to try to save it. Compete for the play-in, but you have to decide, I think, pretty soon. So
what about PAO though? They won by 22 against Partizan, 21 against Dubai, double digits against Real Madrid. This winning streak, the 4-game winning streak, started from Paris game as well. Yeah. Is it just Kenneth Faried bringing his energy and just center presence, and also TJ Short's inclusion to the lineup from the starting 5, and also just having a bigger role offensively, or what's the key behind that stretch?
I think it's a mix of everything. I think Kenneth Faried has been phenomenal so far. Just having the lob threat for TJ, for Slukas, for Nunn is huge. Having that fast rolling to the rim, having the crazy energy he brings, so many block shots. He just impacts the rim a lot for in a lot of these situations, and this is exactly what Pana needed after Lazor can't play, Richaun Holmes is injured. He has brought that great energy, and that lifted the entire team, I think. And finally, TJ has the ball more in his hands, and Kendrick plays a little bit more off the ball, and he doesn't try to attack so much. He attacks when he gets the ball. He's not like holding the ball too much in his hands. So I think they're getting into a rhythm collectively, not just different types of players. It doesn't seem so forced to me anymore as it was in the first month. And, it's normal because you have a huge piece coming into your team and you have injury problem with the centers. So I like where they're headed. And I think I hope for them, they continue playing this way. Not trying to play this your turn, my turn basketball, but just playing by the rhythm. And that's what I like. I think they're getting into their groove.
If you like it too, press this like button after watching our video and make sure to subscribe to BasketNews.com channel.